Hello, welcome to another short video with me, Christian Rauchenwald. Now, I've seen a couple of posts on Reddit of people worried about the integration that there is on thealbum.com. For those of you who haven't seen it, PleasrDAO announced that there will be special access to GameStop holders through PleasrDAO.com. And now a lot of people are worried that if they open up this dialog here, that it might be some scam to grab your computer share credentials or whatever. And I just want to point out that a few things here. So there's a huge misunderstanding. First of all, this pop-up window that you see is not developed by the developers of thealbum.com, but is from a third-party service called Plate. Now, Plate is a platform that basically develops the integrations with banks, brokers, and so on, so that when you have a project that would require the integration, you don't have to spend the time and resources to develop an integration with every single bank out there. Yeah, which brings us to one important conclusion. The list of brokers and banks and institutions that is listed here is not curated by the creators of thealbum.com, but is simply the list of institutions that Plate as a service lists. Now, the creators of thealbum.com might be able to influence which 4 options are shown here, but I guess that's actually automatically compiled based on which choices are used most often by users. However, the important aspect here is, so regarding the post that I saw on Reddit, if we search here for computer share, and that's where most people get their panic, it's some kind of credential grab or so. Well, if you bother to click on computer share, you will know that it will just tell you that computer share is not supported, because computer share, as far as I know, doesn't offer any kind of API, so Plate cannot integrate with it anyway. Now, if we take the second computer share option for employee online, then you will see it's also not supported, because again, there is no API, which means the question would be why Plate even lists options that are not supported. If I would have to guess, I would say they are probably counting the number of clicks so that they can better estimate which integration they should work on next. Since on their end, they have to dedicate resources to integrate with things. Now, if we, however, then continue, that whole thing that computer share is not supported brings us to some other topic, but we'll circle back to that later. If we, however, continue here, and in my case, I select interactive broker. Now I'll need to enter my query ID, but I will do that off screen. So yeah, and continue, and then I need to enter my token, which I also, so I'm gonna drag the window back for a second so you guys see the next thing. So it's asked for my 24-digit token, which I'm also going to do off screen, and I'm gonna say continue, and then it does this. And probably will fail because in this account, I currently, I also have to verify my email, but in this account, I currently don't have any GameStop shares. The shares that I have are all in computer share. I requested a security code through Plate. Yeah, that's this one here. There we go. And yeah, like with that, we should have, yeah, so that's the portfolio, but it probably will say, we're sorry, there's no GameStop in your account right now, or not. So it says, yeah, not a holder. Yeah, so it says there are no ordinary shares in that account. Yeah, so that's it for now. So I could probably say, okay, enter the chamber. Okay, it still says not a holder. But if I would buy a GameStop share today, then probably I could go through with it now. The important part, and let's actually circle the screen because we don't need it anymore. So the important part here is the following. Yeah. So even if you wanted to add or enter your computer share credentials, you couldn't, because Plate itself doesn't offer that integration. It lists it, and I assume that's again for market research purposes, so that they see people who click on brokers or banks that are not supported by Plate yet, so that they can then better estimate which integration they should develop first and what's not as important or not as popular. Yeah? Second of all, the creators of the thealbum.com website, which appears to be PleasrDAO, I didn't look into that too much. I'm just focusing on the technical aspect and security aspect here in this video. Have no real control over the services that Plate offers, but for them it was the easy choice, because otherwise they would have to sit down and spend the time to develop an integration for Robinhood, Fidelity, E-Trade, Interactive Broker, every other broker that's out there, every I don't know, potential bank that offers some kind of trading services where you could hold shares. So they just went the, in quotes, easy way and said, we're going to integrate with PleasrDAO. So we're going to pay a probably small fee per each user that verifies, if at all, or a monthly fixed fee, so that we don't have to spend years developing the solution ourselves. Yeah. Now that's the important aspect. Now, additionally, for example, in my case, so I integrated with Interactive Broker now, and while I don't want to show you my token, the query ID and the token are actually part of the performance and report section for third-party reports, which means entering the token and the query ID like I did grants Plate, in that case, a read-only access. So they couldn't move shares, they couldn't sell shares, they couldn't do anything. All they could do is basically read my account statements. So past and present, in that case, to verify GameStop share ownership. Yeah. And other than that, they could not do anything with that account. And it's important, I think it's important that when information is shared, so I'm not encouraging you go to thealbum.com and enter your data and verify to see what's behind or what's in the chamber. Yeah. I'm not saying that. It's completely up to you to decide, but it's important that we battle misinformation. So, and when we see when there are posts of people that claim that is some kind, or might be some kind of, credential scrap, or some, that's pretty much what some people are saying. And it's so easy to show that it's not, because it cannot even be, because Plate itself does not support computer share in any way, because computer share does not offer any kind of API that could be used to build the integration. Yeah, which is, by the way, also the reason recently there were a couple of posts, because Dave Lauer from Urban Finance, or Urban Finance, or however it's pronounced, developed some kind of share counter, and he made some, in quotes, integration for computer share, which turned out to be basically some remote desktop instance or something like that, where theoretically credentials could have been logged, and he obviously got bashed on the separate subreddits for it. Well deserved, to be honest, because he did not point out the way he did it. And however, looking at the facts that computer share doesn't have an API, apparently I couldn't find any. Maybe they have, but I checked, I couldn't find any kind of API. Plate does not integrate with computer share, likely because there is no API. So I think that Dave Lauer simply saw, okay, there is no way to do it with a proper API, which means read-only access and this and that. And he just was so focused on getting it done that he completely forgot the security aspect and just did it the way he found a way that works, even though it's like a highly insecure way that obviously then slapped him in the face. I'm not saying that what he did was right or so. I just want to point out that there is a huge difference, like the way Dave Lauer did his computer share integration, to make it look like what he's doing, or not to make it look like, but because he wanted to accomplish something so badly that he didn't care how he did it, or calling something bad when you can literally in, 1 minute research prove that there is no risk to it, because you cannot link your computer share account. Even if you could, I assume, just like with my Interactive Broker account, it would be with a read-only access, but again, doesn't matter because there is no computer share API. And I'm fairly certain, although you have to pay attention yourself when you click on the Enter Your Chamber button, and you pick, Robinhood or whichever other, in quotes, broker you hold GameStop shares. You just pay attention to what it tells you on the screen, especially from the side of your broker, and you will see if it will only grant read-only access or if it would grant more permissions. And I'm 99% certain that for pretty much every broker, it will only grant read-only access. However, pay attention yourself. If you're not sure or you're worried, don't sign up, but just don't spread misinformation. Yes, of course, as long as GameStop itself doesn't share, yay, that's our mutual offer, go and benefit or whatever, don't do it if you don't want to. Even if GameStop shares it, don't do it if you don't want to, but don't spread misinformation just because you don't understand things. So that's pretty much it. I hope this video cleared a few of your doubts. Maybe it gets you to opt in for thealbum.com. Maybe it doesn't really matter, but at least now you know a little bit more about how those things work. and you understand a little bit more that, like, okay, that's not some weird conspiracy theory or so. It's just plain nonsense that's being spread about potential grab of your computer share credentials or something like that. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video more or less. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button, enable notifications if you're watching this on YouTube. Join me for one of my almost daily live streams around market open, or just, yeah, like, go away and enjoy the rest of the day. Till then, bye-bye.